And welcome. My name is Tim Hanai, and I am going to be the referee and advisor, primary advisor for the first annual Intercollegiate Wine Business Invitational. I'm a master of wine. I teach wine business online through various programs and around the world. I've been in the wine industry for a long, long time in many, many different positions. And my role in this whole program is to help you and your teams with whatever resources you need to create a really, really extraordinary wine business plan for your product that you're going to invent. So what I'm going to do in this video is kind of just take you through the basics and where things are, what things look like. And then over time, we'll be providing more tutorials for the specific elements of the program. And then also we'll be conducting weekly webinars that'll be a live Q&A session. And a word about that, you'll be able to email me any questions in advance if you can't make one of the weekly live webinars. And we're also going to record the webinars so that if you or anyone on your team can't make it to the live webinar, no problem, you can watch the recording, okay? So we're just really thrilled about this. It's exciting, and you're the first ever to participate in this program. So the primary page where information resides, and to ensure that you don't have to go looking through emails and whatever to find things, is winebusiness.com/IWBI, International Wine Business Invitational, okay? So here you're going to find details with the complete overview, the intentions, expectations that we have for individuals and for the teams, different things about production criteria. So there's plenty of stuff that you can read through at your leisure. And I'm just going to take you through some of the highlights. So first of all, each team will be designating roles within the team, kind of to take on certain responsibilities. And as part of the program, you're going to be creating a wine business plan for your product that you're going to invent. And one of the things that you'll have, and there's a link to this to download it, plus we'll send it out to everybody, is going to be the business plan template. Now, everything on the wine, the IWBI business plan is required, and you can also embellish with additional information and materials and collateral and all that kind of stuff. So one of the first things that we need to do, that you need to do, is decide who's going to take on what role within your team. And so part of what we're going to ask you to do is fill out this first page. It's very simple, and put in everybody's name, the role they're taking on. And the reason we want to do this is you're going to need to have ultimately decisions on label artwork, on the financial plan for establishing the cost of goods for your product. You'll have marketing elements. So when I teach this in my program, we call it everybody's got to wear a hat. So figure out who's going to wear the sales hat, who's going to wear the finance hat, who's going to wear the marketing hat, who's going to wear the winemaking hat. You can make up roles, have fun with this. This is intended to be a great learning exercise and to be a lot of fun. And also a real quick aside about this, I'm the first American in history to become what's called a master of wine. I've been involved in this industry for a very, very long time. And it's very interesting how few people, even at the highest level of expertise in the wine industry, don't know much about the business. So the overall intention of this course is to immerse you into thinking, what went into this bottle? What did that cost? I wonder, who is their market? What are they trying to say? how are they getting the product from their winery through the distribution channels into this store, at this restaurant, and so on and so forth, okay? So it's really to put you in a hands-on situational recreation of fantasy. We like to say this is kind of like Farmville, but a graphics deficient form of Farmville, okay? So the business plan, we will do a separate video specifically on the business plan, all right? But that's one of the key things that you're going to be creating over the course of this program. And at the end, you're going to take your Word document and all your collaterals, you're going to put it into a PDF form, and then we'll give you instructions for submitting those at the end of the time period, okay? So that's number one, is the business plan. All right. Part number two is going to be the process of naming your winery, and you guys get to decide, all right? Now remember that we're making a $25 bottle of red blend, and I'll talk about that in detail, but you need to come up with a name for your winery and a name for the wine. Because it's a red blend, you really need to go out in the market and look online and see what kind of things are out there. Hopefully somebody within your group or connected to your group is good with artwork and these kind of things. And there are a lot of online resources for your wine label, but you're going to need a front label and a back label. And you're also going to need to do a little bit of research, and it's pretty easy to find this stuff, about all the required information like alcohol, source of the grapes, what you're allowed to put and not put on the label. And we want a front label and a back label. So you'll be able to do easy research looking at what those look like. And then online, if you go in, there's all sorts of online labeling companies that provide templates for different wine labels. You can totally do it from scratch. And again, this is going to be component number two of the actual evaluation of the projects. And that's going to be the wine label component of the competition, okay? So that's part number two, business plan, wine label, front, back, any style you want. You can be cutting edge, you can be traditional, have fun with it, okay? And all you have to do is do a quick Google search for wine label templates, and there's all sorts of stuff to play with and to look at. All right. The third component of this is going to be financials. I know, I hate financials, but what we've designed is pretty cool. I've been using this for many, many years, and it's an online set of workbooks. And we'll give you full instructions how to get in, how to save your projects, and then we'll do specific tutorials for each of the projects, or I'm sorry, each of the workbooks as well. But let me give you just a real quick idea. You're going to go to a link called spreadsheetserver.com. There's a link right on our contest website down here somewhere, all right? And when you get in, you're going to be given a team access to this. Your team access will be your team number, which institution, which college or university you're associated with, and then it's going to be at wine business I'm not sure what our final part of the URL is going to be. I think it's going to be ecode.me. And that'll be your email that you use to access the workbooks. Now, this is something that's going to be really careful. You need to have somebody that's a finance person that's kind of responsible for driving the final financials of this program, okay? We'll send you a password and you sign in. And then when you sign in, there's going to be two different workbooks. Workbook number one is going to be your cost of goods calculator. And don't panic. We do not expect you to know all these numbers and all this. You're going to open a new calculator and you're going to save it. the process of saving saves it on our server, not your computer. So when you make your project, and again, we'll give you very specific instructions on this. You want to save the URL. You can, if it's on your computer, you can favorite it or bookmark it so that you can go back to it. And if you're working on different computers and different people are possibly working on it, make sure that you've got that URL, because that's how you get back to your workbook. So you put in your name, you put in the date, you name the wine and use your winery name. Now, we're giving you specifications that are a little different from what you're going to find preloaded in this workbook, all right? You're going to be asked to make 10,000 cases of wine. As you can see, the case production on this is 3,000. And so when we do the detailed tutorial of this, we'll go through this step by step. But fundamentally, you're going to put in an FOB selling price, you're going to put in the case production. We're going to run all the numbers, or the program runs all the numbers to give you a dashboard here of what you're doing. You're going to have to go out and research some grape costs. We're going to send you something called the California Grape Crush Report, and you're going to be able to go in and research different grapes. And remember, you're going to have a minimum of 4 different grapes that are in your blend, okay? And then you're going to have to do some research to find out what's your rationale for pricing the grapes and so forth. Now, this is the fun part of this is you can call wineries. You can see if you can find some geeks within your circle of friends, or maybe at a wine store that wants to help you out. So you're free to seek advice and find people that can help you do this. And we encourage that, all right? So you're gonna have a minimum of 4 different types of grapes. You're making a red blend. It could be a traditional blend of things like Bordeaux varieties like Cabernet and Merlot and these things. It could be a Rhone blend where you've got Syrah and Grenache and the other Rhone type of varieties. It could just be some fanciful assemblage of grapes that maybe you saw something in a store and you're doing some field research, and you say, oh, this is a cool blend, let's try that. And then you may find, as you're doing your grape research, one of the things that you're going to be trying to do is to have the best gross margin possible, okay? It's going to be one of the judging criteria. So the things that we're going to be judging, remember, we've got the business plan, we've got the label, and we've got these workbooks. I'll show you the second one in a minute. We're going to give an award for the best of each of these 3 components. And then whichever team has the best composite score, including all 3 of those, will get the grand prize for this competition, okay? So in production, we don't expect you to know the numbers, but this is your way to kind of learn and find out. Again, it's already preset with numbers, so you're going to have to do some research to see what you're going to tweak or fine tune. What could you do to make a little more money? Or maybe you're going to make a quality decision. You're going to do something that's going to compromise your bottom line, but it's important from a quality standpoint and from the value proposition that you want to be talking about in your marketing materials and that kind of thing, right? So you're always going to be looking at a balance between profitability and bottom line, making a really great product, so your value, all right? And then also understanding that a wine product from the winery and getting to the consumer has to go through several gatekeepers. You've got to sell your wine to the distributor. They've got to have a story to sell it to the restaurants and the stores. And then it finally gets to the consumer. So you're going to be looking at the supply chain and the value chain and weighing the financial and the quality decisions all the way along. All right? We got a barrel worksheet here, so you can see what a mess that is, and how expensive it can be. In the cellaring and storaging, maybe you find the oak barrels are a little too expensive, and there's alternatives. You need to research that a little bit. And then finally, we'll get into packaging, what kind of bottle, and if you can actually go out and find a glass company and get costing and whatever, anything that you can put in your business plan for your product development and all of that. Pick out, are you going to use a cork and capsule, which is the traditional way of closing the wine, a closure it's called. Are you going to use a screw cap? Are you even going to put it in a bottle? Are you going to put it in a can or a box or something like that? Okay, so you pick out all that. Then there are some things that you'll have to look up, like COLA means Certificate of Label Approval. And at the end of that, you'll get your cost of goods per case. And then this is going to be your little financial breakdown. Okay, your cost of grapes, the production, aging and cellaring and storage, packaging, etc. Now, you're not going to use bulk wine in this, so let me tell you straight out, don't worry about that. Under grape costs, it allows you, under production, it allows you to put in some bulk wine or use bulk wine. You're not going to do that. Okay. All right. So that's spreadsheet number one. And when at the end of the program, you're going to save this and then save it as a PDF, and then you'll be submitting that along with your label and your business plan. And then here you go. When you hit save, it goes to save as PDF. And then the second workbook we're going to be using is going to be a wine pricing calculator. So the cost of goods workbook has a simple formula, so you can sort of see an estimate of what kind of retail price you're going to have as you're making your wine. And it's set for $25. That's the good news. But separately, you're going to need to learn a little bit about the distribution of wine and getting it from the winery through the gatekeepers into different states, and what does it cost for shipping, insurance, freight, taxes, and that kind of stuff. And what is a distributor in the state, in any given state, what kind of markup do they apply, and so forth. You are not going to use the tasting room or wine club programs for this project. We want you to learn about the distribution, the 3-tier system it's called. We'll give you more details about that. So you plug in your FOB price of the wine, and you'll probably find that as you're going along, you're going to be tweaking in one place and then have to go back and maybe make slight adjustments in the other. All right, but basically this is how this looks, and what you're going to be working on is it's preset for a $32 retail. You got to get that down to $25 and figure out how. All right. And again, we'll have a complete and detailed tutorial just on this workbook. But we go through getting it to the distributor. The distributor then marks it up. And then you're not going to do export. We're going to do retail and restaurant pricing. And then you'll have to do a little research. What does a store mark the wine up once it's bought it from the distributor? What do they mark it up for their final selling price to the consumer? What's the standard markup and rationale for restaurant markup and pricing? Okay, and again, when you're done with this at the end of the program, you'll save it. You'll save it as a PDF, and this will be along with your final submission. Okay, so. The judging criteria is we're going to have panels we're going to have one set of experts and industry people and educators that are looking at business plans and deciding who's got the best presentation and the most detail and who's put the most time and effort and research into it. Then we'll have a separate panel that's doing the wine labels and looking at your artwork and graphic and making sure that you have all the legal requirements met for a wine label. And then the final will be the financial workbooks and making sure that you've got that. So the three parts again: business plan, wine label, financials. Okay. Now on the site, we're going to have a click. Just click here, and you get to the instructions and tutorials for. I'm sorry, for the login page that I had mentioned. And then we'll have a tutorial that you can download for logging in, creating, and saving what we call your Wine Biz Sim project. So whenever you hear Wine Biz Sim, that's these guys. So those are the Wine Business Simulation financial workbooks, okay? And then of course we've got, so your team will be set up, and then we're also going to have a resource section, a place for you to go to really dive into learning about grapes and grape prices and availability. It's called the California Grape Crush Report. We've got your downloadable business plan template. We've got a link to the Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau, the TTB. And you can go there to look and see what are the requirements for a wine label. There's a lot of resources you can use, but this is going directly to the source. So we'll have your video tutorials set up down here, and we'll have some other stuff that we'll be adding over time to this. And there we go. So when you get a chance, you know, start setting up your team, start working on your winery name, your artwork, and assigning everybody a role so that you can allocate responsibilities, and that's part of this whole business practice. How well do you work together as a team? A lot of times you'll have one person dominating the whole thing. Well, that's like business, right? And so part of this is also making sure that you're helping to balance out and equally share the responsibilities and duties of this. So thank you very much. We'll have more information coming to you, and really excited about this, and thanks for being aboard, and we'll be in touch soon. There will be more videos, the webinars, and more information coming. Thanks.